We're about to split you into 4 groups of 3. You will then be asked to go back to your house where you'll have 15 minutes to work out how to prepare 2 dishes on an Italian theme. So, the 4 different personality groups headed off to plan their meal. All of you watching will have something in common with one of these types. Now, remember, you've only been quizzed on one part of your personality so far. There's still more to come. But for now, you just have to keep your planner or spontaneous score in mind.
Well, we don't need a cookbook. I think we just do it.
Do you want to make an alternative to rump steak in case we sort of get stuck on a budget?
I tell you what, why don't we just go there and see what sort of Italian stuff they got?
Yeah.
Then we brought all 4 groups to this supermarket, gave them £40 and 15 minutes to shop. Do you recognise your own style of shopping in any of them?
Onions, guys. Well, someone do vegetables, someone do get the spaghetti.
We're not very organised, are we?
Andy, can you look down here and see if there's any bay leaves? Andy, have they got stock cubes here? Andy, could you get some goat's cheese?
How long have we got left? Who's on the time limit, vibe?
I haven't got a watch.
We've got 6 minutes.
Have we?
They thought they were here to buy their lunch, but this was the real test. We'd blocked the one area we knew they all needed, the pasta and olive oil aisle. Can our psychologists predict who would ignore the warning and cross the barrier? Big thinkers.
When they see the barrier, they're probably, out of the 4 types, the most likely to just step over it.
Because?
Because they don't really care as much about the rules. They'll wing it, they'll cheat, they'll negotiate.
Limbo it, limbo.
Have you been here before?
The big thinkers performed as predicted, but what about the next group? Idealists, will they observe the blockage in the aisle?
They'll probably be less thrown by the blockage in the aisle and the lack of some ingredients, and more able to be spontaneous around that.
That's interesting.
So far, so good for the psychologists. And with nurturers, will they cross a barrier?
They are the least likely of the 4 personality types that we're looking at to break a rule.
Really? So they'll respect that and just go for an alternative?
I'd be astonished.
Right, next aisle.
Yeah?
Cheese, the cheese down there. Okay.
All right.
Okay. You'll find out.
Come and have a look.
You'll find out. We've got problems.
Come and have a look.
Oh, they're taking me.
Oh, that is hilarious, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, come on,
That's all right, that's cool. That's all right.
The psychologists were amazingly accurate with the nurturers, but what about the final planner group, the supervisors? Will they break the rules when it says do not enter this aisle?
They'll be reluctant to break the rules. They tend to like setting rules and tend to respect other people's rules.
Would they really be put off by our barrier? Remember Andy, the computer programmer from earlier? Here's what his boss makes of him.
So I can't imagine Andy ever sort of doing things that are naughty or illegal or getting arrested by police or that sort of thing.
We need olive oil.
So Andy's clearly not a rule breaker.
Oh, that's a bit nasty.
So the psychologist's prediction was wrong. Andy had no problem crossing the barrier.
There's some flavoured ones there.
Isn't that breaking the rules? Which you
Oh,
said
yes,
that
it clearly
they were...
broke a rule. It's explainable in terms of their extreme task focus.
Exactly.
To get the job done properly is the main thing.
Yes, did Andy really think it was more important to complete the task, or are the psychologists making excuses for his unpredictable behaviour? The way they actually worked out why you'd crossed it, were they accurate?
The logical steps that go through your mind like that are, it's only there for safety, you need the stuff on the shelf, we've got a task to do, go do it. It's not a do not enter, it's beware that there's danger on the floor.
Overall, the psychologists' initial predictions were right for 3 of the 4 groups, and even though they were wrong about the supervisors, they were able to tell us why Andy crossed the barrier, so not a bad start. But what about the nurturers not crossing the barrier? How do they feel about being so predictable? Remember, they'd never met each other before and they didn't know what type they were until now.
They are describing you as a person you can identify with everything they're saying, and yet they don't know you. We've never met them before. They've never met us before, really. So it's just based on theory, isn't it? And it's fascinating.
Nurturers are one of the most loyal and dependable of all the types.
I don't want to let people down. I want to be organised. I want to tell people if I'm going to see them what time I'm turning up and turn up at that time.
That really is my biggest worry whenever we have a party. It's just, have I got enough food, you know? Is everybody going to be fed? And it's like, I know it's daft.
There's something very interesting. We've obviously paid for all the shopping and got them all together to do that. But each of the teams stood and waited to take their shopping away, apart from Dave, Adrian and Aparna, who've left their shopping behind and just gone and happily boarded the bus. Can I interest you in your shopping?
Oi, you left the shopping in there.
I thought there was someone to do that for us.
Did you?
I thought we had a personal shopper as well. Get on there.
Well, you did in the end. It was me that did it for you.
Thanks, Nick.
These three were clearly the least organised of the groups here, but big thinkers are supposed to strive to be the best in their field. They've never met before, so do they? David is a managing director of a successful firm in the city.
I was the best salesman I'd ever met.
Aparna is a GP.
I don't get distracted in terms of how to deal with something quickly.
And Adrian has been a high flyer since he was born.
He was an entrepreneur as a child. If Adrian could make money, Adrian would make money.
No, my pleasure.
You can join us later.
No, that's great. Thanks very much.
You won't want to, though, without shopping, will you, really?
Yeah.
Thanks, Nat. I can't believe we just left it. What are you laughing at?
Once the groups are back at the farm, we gave them 1 hour to prepare their Italian meal. So, what can the psychologists tell us? Supervisors? Big, messy, all over the place kind of cooks?
No. Tidy, organised. I'd expect them to do role allocation as
like a chef and commis chef and...
Chef, commis chef, someone cleaning up afterwards, or one person do one dish, one do the other. Some kind of division of labour there.
The starter is easy, so we might as well leave that for the moment and get on with the main dish. Is that all the starter stuff in there?
Yeah. You want to give us some tasks to do? It's going to be the easiest way.
Well, first thing, we need to make up some chicken stock. Grandma, your cube directly into your food, blah, blah, blah.
So I'm going to litre to do.
We want a
2
litre.
pints, isn't it?
It's 1 3/4 pints.
Yeah.
So, Penny's prediction of role allocation was spot on. But would these three people mirror each other in the real world?
You expect to see a lot of that supervisor type in any kind of large organisation that has management.
Claire Stratford works as a building society manager. Andy Taylor works in IT and Dave Wilson is a manager in Leeds City Council. They've never met before, but how do they approach a task?
If I start a job, I do like to finish it. I like to process it all the way through.
If I'm working on something, I'll generally stay here until I've sort of finished doing whatever it was I was doing in the first place.
If I'm starting a project, I will start it and I will continue with that project until it reaches fruition.
They could be cut from the same cloth. The supervisor personality type has the planner dimension, and if you do too, then you'll probably prefer environments that allow you to work in an orderly fashion. As well as often being found in management, the supervisor type is the least likely to think about quitting their job, a thought that's never occurred to Dave. He's worked for Leeds City Council for 31 years. So, guess which group brought their meal to the table first? The nurturer personality group have a lot in common with the supervisors. They both share the planner and facts preferences, and it was interesting that our nurturer's approach mirrored the supervisors.
Pasta only takes 5 minutes to cook, 7 minutes to cook.
And the pizza's 15 to 20, isn't it? So 15 to 20 minutes?
Right. It's only going to take more than about half an hour.
What, to do the whole...
They planned ahead and clearly had one eye on the time.
Yeah, but didn't we say we're going to get there at 5:10?
We're going to get there at 5:10.
So that's 10 minutes.
But we just boiled the water.
And although the groups aren't carbon copies, this task was about planning, so it was no surprise that they left their cottage with plenty of time to spare. So how would our final two personality groups approach this task? Both the big thinkers and the idealists share the same preferences, spontaneous and ideas. So what does that tell our psychologists? Okay, the big thinkers, how are we expecting them to cook?
in some contrast. It'll be lots of improvising, possible changes of plan halfway through. If something goes wrong, what the hell, we'll just do something else.
Clean and tidy kitchen? Well drilled?
Far from it.
Messy.
Quite the opposite. A creative muddle.
Oh, you must be joking. I didn't touch that with you.
It just fell off. I didn't touch it.
Yes, saved. Nightmare,
rolled off.
If it's not for us, we can just scoop it up.
They'll never know.
They'll never know. A bit of glass, they'll be all right. Yeah. I've got an idea. Hang on.
I thought a spoon might be. No?
Doing it. No, look. This is what you call knowledge.
No, but you're dishing out water
Using
as
a bit of
well.
local knowledge.
You want to take some of the... Oh, now that wasn't
That didn't work,
was
did it?
No. Throw it all together and mince it.
Chips and choc ice. Get it? Oh, doing, you nutter. Think. I'm moving away from the cooking area.
Well, the psychologist couldn't have been more accurate. It was a creative muddle. What a nightmare. People being burnt, people being that they'd completely mistimed it. There was stuff all over the floors, there was stuff falling out of the pans.
It's classic. You just watch this chaos sort of unfolding as you watch it. What's interesting is if you look at David, the way that he's very unaware of his own body a lot of the time. So first of all, he sort of picks up the pasta, it falls over, then he bends over, then he hits his head on the way up. And you do really see that with ideas people. They're much less aware of kind of what's going on around them.
So personality type tells us that people like David are more prone to being haphazard, which begs the question, how are you still alive at this age?
That was excellent, wasn't it? That was fantastic to watch, just amazing. But it all comes together in the end, so what's the problem? Why write the list? Why chop a bit? If it all comes together, looks good, does the job, what is the problem?
And although we're sure she doesn't make a habit of it, it was Aparna the GP who scolded David. Despite the chaos, the big thinkers did leave their cottage with a meal. Well, most of it.
Oh, you're losing all the rocket.
Our final group were the idealists. Like the big thinkers, they have the spontaneous and ideas preferences. So what could the psychologists predict about them?
They are the most absent-minded of the types we have present. So they are the people who might leave something cooking a bit long or get a bit distracted.
Oh, yeah. If there's a smoke alarm, they may well sort of set off the smoke alarm.
Oh, if only we had scratch and sniff television. That's fantastic. Look at this. You pleased?
Yeah. It's going well, isn't it?
I'm really hungry now as well.
How do you think the other teams might have done?
Oh, I ain't got a clue. I don't know. I don't know, because surely cooking's got nothing to do with personality types.
Well, let's test her theory. In the real world, idealists often display creative tendencies. They have strong values, and some might say
Don't worry, darling.
they're a little scatty.
I'm forever looking for things, forever looking for my phone or my earrings, or I'm forgetting stuff.
Okay, they're forgetful, but we have a real prediction here. The smoke alarm going off?
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Ah!
I'm sorry.
David, you didn't get distracted.
Oh my
So it's fair to say you have this fully under control then,
Absolutely, yes.
Excellent. Well, I think that prediction speaks for itself. Now, I'm seriously worried that you've got a broom and a black cat at home because you predicted that the idealists were likely to set off the smoke alarm based on personality type. What is going on?
It's actually very easy.
You're quite chuffed, aren't you?
I'm very pleased.
small degree of smug creeping in at this moment.
I just look at my crystal ball next time.
Yeah. What do the idealists make of being so predictable?
At home, all the smoke alarms got the batteries out because it's just so annoying every meal. Every meal.
And again, how are you finding this in the fact that you're being predicted so well?
It's really intriguing.
I don't like it much.
Yeah, you want to feel you're individual and you can't be placed or boxed, put in a box, and we really are being put in a box.
Yeah.
Even down to smoke alarms.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.